Hey guys, welcome back to P&P here on the OHA. It is Saturday, a little behind on filming this, but a big hobby weekend. Lots going on, lots to talk about. So let's get into it. As you can see, I'm on the Ryan water today and enjoying it. Enjoying my Saturday off. Had quite a few things on the go. Just life. There is an event this weekend in Niagara Falls. Just wasn't going to be able to make it to that. So last I heard, George and some of the guys from London were attending to the Fight to the Falls. I was hoping to see some stuff up on the Facebook group, pictures and the like. Haven't seen anything yet, so hopefully they got lots of content picked up to promote that event and get it posted up. So looking forward to seeing that, seeing what was going on, seeing the tables and all that fun stuff. So that was this weekend in Niagara Falls. Wish I could have made it, just too much going on. Too close to the holidays. It's going to be a very busy time for me. Hard to get some hobby time in. Particularly, a block like a full day, being able to dedicate to, traveling and the like. So, didn't make it down to that one, but what can you do? Other exciting news, we had 2 releases or pre-orders go up today, which is quite exciting. All good things for the hobby. You have the new Battle Companies book, which has been released, as well as the General Pack. I am absolutely thrilled that there is new product, new content, that GW is really seemingly pushing this game and driving forward with it. I think it's positive. And I in no way want to say anything that is going to come off as negative towards this. However, I do have a couple gripes with with the two products. I think it's easiest to start on the general pack, just because that one's pretty well, a straightforward subject. I like the idea of a general pack. I'm not thrilled over the price point, simply due to the quality of the general pack. Having just sheets of paper, cardstock tokens, this day and age, I think GW can attest, the players on the SBG side of things, we're not shy to spend a little bit of money with you guys. At least I know for my side of it, I'm not. I would have loved, and again, take this with a grain of salt. Maybe there's 2 possibilities here, but I would have loved to have seen a proper acrylic token set done to a high standard, maybe some form of collectible tin to contain all the contents, to hold it, to have there for when you're playing as part of your, we've all got our dice bag. You don't really want to be throwing particularly cardstock tokens in with your dice. They're going to get mangled and chewed up and whatever. So thrilled that there is new stuff. Absolutely very happy that new product is rolling. Just a little concerned that maybe this one was a quick grab, I guess would be my opinion of it. I would have liked to have seen it done maybe to a higher standard. Paper army sheets. Is that really the way to go? I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps some sort of PDF file that was, that you could edit and enter in your army probably would have been better. You probably could have made that free, given it away, maybe increase the price of a dice / token set with a collectible tin, maybe made, possibly more money. Again, I'm not a member of the GW marketing team by any means. Just think that it could have been executed a little better. Certainly given some of the companies that are out there, I want to support my Hobbit hobby at 110%. However, I won't be buying cardstock tokens. So for those of you who enjoy it, hats off to you. I'm glad that it's something that's going to fill a gap for you. For me, the quality's just not there. I definitely won't be pulling the trigger on that one. And again, these are Jason's opinions, not those of the OHA or anybody else within the OHA. Just left me wanting more, I guess. So that's that. But thrilled. Keep up the great work, GW SBG team. Please don't take that as a I'm not trying to be negative by any means. Just I think that one could have been taken back to the drawing board and maybe done a little bit better. I know I was present at Nova when that sort of announcement obviously wasn't the first time it was discussed, but it was discussed at Nova. Definitely, I envisioned, some form of acrylic token, something that was going to be a little more robust, something that was going to be, just better value, I guess would be the best way, especially given the direction of Games Workshop lately. Everything that they're doing. I was away from GW for a long time. That was when I sort of got into my historical phase. Was right out of Games Workshop products. SBG got me back in. And given the change in direction and the tone from GW lately, I've been very excited, very pumped. I've been looking at other game systems within GW. Really like some of the stuff that they're doing. So just seeing some of the quality of the product that comes out on a regular basis, I feel like the general pack, should have been up to a better standard, for sure. But those are simply my opinions on that. So take them with a grain of salt. But moving on to Battle Companies. Battle Companies, I'm excited. Love books. Absolutely love books. Again, I'm a little on the fence on this one. I'm thrilled. Again, new content, essentially new facet of the game, officially produced now by Games Workshop, which is amazing. I'm not really sure. I understand the premise of new product and driving it, and believe me, after hearing about the dark days of SBG where nothing was coming out, I completely understand it. But with the release of both the general pack and the Battle Companies, up for pre-order, and then the rumors of the updates to the rules, the changes going forward. This, in my mind, should solidify that we're not going to see any major changes within the core mechanics of the system. Only because with, the release of the Battle of the Five Armies, followed now by Battle Companies, I know there's been some discussion on a bunch of different places about, what mechanics of the game are going to change. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of change, just given the fact that we're putting out new books right before the release of, sort of a revamp of the rules. So as far as timing goes, I'm not really sure if this was, if this is going to be something sort of like what we saw with Shadow War and Necromunda, whether it's just sort of a stopgap until the actual game is ready. Battle Companies 100% is a completely different premise than the standard game. Just, my feeling of it is it probably could have been put into the rulebook. And then we could have bought one book that did everything. That's kind of, for me personally, I prefer that. I would rather have one book that covers everything than, have to dig through 4 or 5 different books to find stuff. And again, all just my opinions. The book looks amazing. I'm definitely going to buy the book, because I wholeheartedly want to support the hobby. I feel like I'm going to enjoy it. There's discussion within the club of doing a themed campaign, which I am completely looking forward to. Just, I guess, questioning the timing on it. And this is all just meant to be constructive. Believe me. I'm not intending to run anybody down or cause any problems by any means. Just, I feel like the timing of it is a little poor. It almost feels like a bit of a cash grab right before Christmas, but Games Workshop is a business at the end of the day. So even my thoughts and what I say, I take with a grain of salt, because I'm not thinking like a business. So it's easy for me to get on here, and to spout this stuff about the general pack as well as Battle Companies, and to point out just sort of my observations, but without without being at the board table and being part of the discussion and part of the company, you really don't know. So, there's a reason that they are top dog in the industry. So I guess to some extent, you could just sit back and trust them. But I also feel like, given the evolution of SBG lately, that community input seems to be valued a little more than in some of the other systems. So I think it's important that we all take the time to do these types of things, point out, things that we like, dislike, would maybe recommend changes on, as is with the rule set. The stuff they did with the Army bonuses was terrific, essentially one giant playtest. So to me, the SBG team is very open and is willing to take some criticism when it comes to decisions like this, which is why I feel comfortable saying my piece about this. So it's definitely something that I think we need to support them on 100%. I just question the timing for battle companies myself. I would have loved to have seen it in the book, or the possibility of down the road having it all in one book. I think that's what I was most excited about when we talked about sort of the revamp, saw what they did with Battle of the Five Armies, put everything that was needed, all the scenarios, all of the stats, everything into one book for the Battle of the Five Armies. I guess the same could be said for battle companies. Maybe that's what they're doing. Everything for battle companies is under one book, but then again, it's not, because some of it's in White Dwarf. So you got to pick up to get some special profiles through White Dwarf. Again, a brilliant marketing choice to get you to get out there and buy White Dwarf copies, and to get the Middle Earth group, I guess, back into buying some White Dwarf. So all in all, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to make a call on. Easy for us armchair generals to be making statements like this, but very different when you're on the other side of the fence. So rest assured, I certainly appreciate that, and am open to criticism back by all means. But that's my 2 cents on those two issues. But absolutely thrilled for those of you who are looking for the general pack, which includes an army roster, token set, the standardized 6 scenarios, I believe. Go check it out, Forge World and GW. That's kind of neat as well. It's available on both sites. Go check it out. If it's something that interests you, get your copy ordered today. Support your Hobbit hobby. Same thing with battle companies. You can get your pre-order in. It has, if I'm not mistaken, 25 battle companies. I could be wrong. Didn't do an overly large amount of research for this video. There's a book with a bunch of profiles in it. Go check it out. It's available on pre-order. If it floats your boat, click the order button. Support the SPG team. So, as for anything else, I think there's discussion of a possible battle report and getting some filming in with OHA Tyler maybe next week. That's a distinct possibility, so we're going to work through that. Hopefully come up with some stuff. He was unable to attend the event today, what would be today, in Niagara Falls, and he was kind of hoping that we could line up this weekend and get something in, but unfortunately my Saturday is just too busy to make that happen. So looking forward to getting together with him and getting the game in. There was also an announcement for the GT over in the UK, going to be held at Warhammer World February 23rd, 24th, if I'm not mistaken. 23rd, 24th, 24th, 25th, somewhere in there, February. It's on the Warhammer community site. It's also on every single Facebook group out there. And if you don't know about it, I'm sure Andreas is going to talk about it at some point. But definitely go and check that out. Would love to try to get across to that, but don't think that's going to happen. This year is a very, very busy year for me. Lots going on. Wedding, honeymoon, all that fun stuff. So unfortunately, some trips across the Atlantic are going to have to wait. So, not making that. In response to a question I received from Sam Jeffrey, he reached out. I was lucky enough to meet that fine gentleman at Nova, along with Dan Entwistle, two of the GBHL's finest. Excellent caliber gentlemen. Had an absolute blast with them in Washington, D.C., and if I do say so myself, I think we showed those Yanks how to do it. Just had a great time. just all around great time. So if you get the opportunity to meet either one of them, definitely take the time to sit down with them, have a chat, have a beer. Very stand-up gentleman, for sure, for sure. So he posed the question on, I forget whether it was the Facebook or the YouTube channel. Either way, it doesn't really matter. He wanted to sort of initiate a discussion about how we keep interest in the hobby, specifically SBG, how we keep the momentum going, how we build on it, and how we help to recruit new people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a Canadian perspective on that question. And I'm going to talk a bit about it, my thoughts, at least locally, and what I think, I'd like to see for the hobby, and where I think that, we can find synergies and growth within the hobby. So to start, I think events are fantastic. Tournaments are great. I do not feel that they're not a good recruiting tool at all. I can speak to that. Not a great experience, simply because I've only been to one OSBGL event, a couple of our own, and then of course Nova. At the end of the day, this again is my personal opinion, that my feelings are, it's a competitive event. It's going to be competitive. Is it fun? Absolutely. They are an absolute blast. Had a lot of fun. I don't think that that's the avenue for recruitment, though. Most of the only caveat to this is going to be Nova, simply because of the number of people that were at Nova, wandering around, that got exposed to so many different games. At a standard, let's take an OSBGL or an OHA tournament, for example, you're not going to have a lot of crossover. You're not going to have a lot of people who aren't already players because they're playing in the tournament coming out to that event. The odd time we're going to get lucky and be hosting it at a convention, where we'll get a little bit of crossover. But even ours, the OHA, as great as it was, we had a full table of people playing on the demo, but we were the largest group present at that convention, which meant the majority of the people were already playing SBG and were involved in SBG. So I don't think tournaments are the way to go. I think that at least the discussions I've had with OHA George, the focus is definitely going to be on things like Comic-Cons, pulp culture events, those sort of hobby-related conventions are definitely going to be where we go. Comic-Cons are great because you're going to get crossover. You're going to have guaranteed people in that crowd that know and love the Tolkien universe. So I think crossover there is going to be really easy. And again, this is all Canadian based, because in the UK you guys have a completely, it's flipped on its head. You guys have so many people that are into wargaming of all types, whereas in Canada it is still a very niche market. So for us locally, southwestern Ontario, 100% conventions where we have other participation games. It's important for us to have a participation game there to interest people. I think that the terrain is paramount. You have to have an absolutely stunning table. Your miniatures have to be painted, well. I'm not suggesting they need to win Golden Demons, but you can't run a demo and show up and drop Black Prime models. I think that just takes away from the aesthetic of the game. So I think it's important that if you're doing demos and you're doing this kind of recruitment, that you've got a beautiful demo table with some stunning miniatures, and have it painted, set up, ready to go, drop of the hat, get them in for a couple of turns if that's all they want, or let them play the afternoon, whatever works. I think that's really key. I know George has been in contact with the local GW manager in London, talking about possibly running some SBG demos in the Games Workshop store. I think from a national or international standpoint, I think that's going to be important for GW to support, especially now with, I guess, what you would call the resurgence of the game. It would be beautiful to see games being played back in those stores. And not only just Games Workshop stores, but also independent retailers. I know I personally have an issue with my retailer here in Chatham. He completely disregards Hobbit SBG. Doesn't pay it any mind, even to the point of telling me that GW had lost the rights and it's not even a viable game anymore. just uneducated on the system, obviously, didn't know what was going on. But even something like that needs to be nipped in the ass, and you need to get those independent retailers on board and allow space to have you in there promoting the game. So I think you will see growth. I think that the TV show is going to be great for growth. It's definitely going to draw some people out of the woodwork, I would assume. It's just going to be how that gets capitalized, and what sort of momentum GW maintains throughout the next few years with SBG with regards to how much it's going to flourish. So as much as I think it is on us to grow the hobby and to maintain the hobby and to keep the game viable, I think there's also a lot of onus on GW to continue to support in the way they have. And again, what I said earlier, please don't take that as me being upset with the caliber of support we're receiving from GW. Just, obviously there's differing opinions out there on what should be done, what shouldn't be done. Just sharing mine, that's all. But I think that that's key. So I think that the SPG team has it right, because I think the paramount thing to remember here is having the community and GW come together like this for the game. That's going to be where it differs from other systems, and what will attribute to its success. At the end of the day, we're the folks playing it. The fact that they value our input and take the time to listen to our input, do the type of play testings that they've done. I think they're all on the right direction. Just hope to see it continue in that exact same way, because we're going to work a whole lot better like this than we will like that. So that would be my sort of recommendation, Sam. That's sort of where I'm at. I think that the demo games and different venues and stuff is going to be huge. Comic-Cons and cosplay stuff and things of that nature, it's all sort of a common thread. So excellent venue to recruit new players and to bring them in. So and I think more to the battle company point, I think the battle companies could be an excellent way to get players into the game. It's going to provide you with a way to play the game at a relatively low cost, in comparison to obviously having to field 800, 900,000 points of whatever. So I think that could be a very good recruitment tool, and it's going to bridge sort of the tabletop, almost RPG-ish world, right? So I think there's definitely some opportunity there to use that game, going forward, to bring in some new blood. So all in all, just to recap, I'm pumped and positive about everything that we're seeing coming out of GW related to Middle-earth strategy battle game. Cannot wait to see the new rulebook. Can't wait to see what's in store. Even the two gripes I had at the beginning, I'm excited to see the general pack and to see what's going on, because I haven't got my hands on it. So I don't want to be too quick. I don't want to call it a review by any means. I'm just stating my opinion at this point. I'd love to get my hands on it to do a review, to go over it, to take a look at the quality, see what kind of card stock we're dealing with, see the actual product itself, and give an honest review. So I'm going to work towards the club getting a hold of that and then giving it the proper due it's deserved. And then of course Battle Company is the same thing. Again, I think Battle Companies is a fantastic looking product. Excited to flip through that book and to see what's in there. Just the timing of it, I think, is a little poor. So but then again, I'm sure that there's people that are going to say, no, Jason, you're full of shit. It's not poor. It's a beautiful stopgap to give us something until the arrival of the new rulebook, which, you're definitely entitled to that. That's terrific. I'm excited if that's the way you're looking at it. That's awesome. So that is it for PMP. I've talked too long. My voice is going hoarse. I'm going to need another sip of drink here. Sam, respond back. Let me know what you think. And cheers to all you guys. And specifically, cheers to the Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game team for listening to lots of people. Everybody, essentially. I mean, there's such statues within the community. They're in there, commenting on everything. They're giving input. They really are part of the lifeblood of this hobby, And I know I certainly appreciate that. You know, that's going to reflect in the games, and I look forward to seeing where you guys take it. So cheers to you guys, cheers to GW, and cheers to all the Middle Earth Strategy Battle Gamers out there. We will catch up with you next week, guys. Cheers.